Okay, so welcome again. We are live for the Wellness Wednesday. I want to say a quick hi to Chetna. So, today we are going to discuss how not to be fooled by health labels. And reading health labels is extremely important in today's world because there is a lot of processed food that has sneaked in our diets. We are not always eating things that are natural or that are as close to nature as we used to, right? So for convenience sake, we're grabbing like a bag of chips or energy bars or eating certain juices, whether it's fruit juice, vegetable juice, or smoothies in cartons because you think they're healthy for you. But the fact is, they may not be healthy for you, and they are marketed to you in such a way that you think they are extremely good for you because they have certain labeling that says, oh my God, it's all natural or it doesn't have added sugars. So, we are going to discuss certain terminology which will help you read labels like a pro. And then I'm going to talk about specific things that you need to look at when you're reading labels, right? So, let's get started. So, some of the most misleading claims that are there in your foods or the food labels is light, right? So, if you're buying like a lighter butter or like a lighter cream cheese variety, for example, light butter is the vegan butter. So if you are buying like a light fat free yogurt, something that's light, or the light dressings that are extremely common, like a light ranch or something, it shows that there are reduced calories. Now some products may just be watered down, or some of them, to make them light but have them taste equally good as something that a fat would do, they are full of sugar, right? So whenever it says light, it does not mean healthy for you. The second one is my absolute pet peeve because everyone that comes to me talks about how they're making a better choice for themselves by eating a multigrain bread, right? Oh, I eat a multigrain toast every morning. Multigrain literally means there are multiple grains in the bread, right? It does not mean it's whole grain. It could all be refined grains. So you have to make sure what you're eating is in fact something that's healthy and not just something that you have been believed to sound healthy, right? The third thing is natural. Natural does not mean anything in today's world. If it starts with an apple or rice, they can say natural. All natural, even peanut butter is not the healthiest source of proteins. I've seen peanut butter rage take over. In US, Canada, it's pretty popular. It's like one of the easiest snacks. In India, there are celebrities endorsing peanut butters, but peanuts are extremely allergenic, right? Peanuts could have mold on them, and they are not even the healthiest nuts. If you really want, you could go for something like almonds, but all natural may still have a ton of junk added in it because there is no definition of natural when it comes to marketing labels, right? Now we talk about the fourth thing, which is low calorie. So low calorie products, there are certain brands, especially weight loss brands, which will provide you with packaged soups and packaged foods that will be energy bars. Some of them will be really low calorie, but these low calorie soups are laden with artificial coloring. They are laden with artificial preservatives and flavors, and they're not healthy for you. So just because a certain thing is lower in calories does not mean it's healthy for you, right? Um, Low fat is the next thing we're going to talk about. So low fat is the sixth thing that we're discussing, and low fat usually means that they have taken a fat component out. Example is all these low fat or even fat free yogurts, right? Or just eating egg whites which don't have any fat in it, but your body needs good fat. And one thing when it comes to low fat yogurts is, if you are sensitive to the dairy, right, it does not matter whether it's high fat or low fat, you're still going to react to it. Again, most low fat things are laden with artificial preservatives or sweeteners, right? Because fat also helps preserve things for a long time. Now, usually the cost of buying a low fat food is usually high sugar. So always check the ingredients list before you're buying. Right now, low carb diets or diet pop, anything to do with diet that does not have calories, that does not have sugar, what has been done, especially if you look at pop, they're full of aspartame, and aspartame is not a healthy sweetener, right? Aspartame can create a lot of overload on your neurological system. It can create brain fog in some, it can create overstimulation of brain in certain people. And you can also find a lot of research saying that aspartame is not the best for your brain function. So anything that says diet or has low carb or low sugar might have aspartame, or even Splenda or sucralose are not the healthiest sweeteners for you, right? Then something that is fortified or enriched with vitamin D, fortified or enriched with, like vitamin C. So you'll see a lot of juices in the market. An example, orange juice has vitamin D added to it, or a certain amount of a certain kind of nut milk, almond milk or soy milk would have some vitamin D added to it. Now or certain things would have some minerals or something added to it. So anything that's fortified or enriched literally means certain nutrients have been added to the product, but it does not make it healthy, right? And the last one is the one thing I tell everyone, that if you are going gluten free because of a label that says gluten free, you are trying to go gluten free, or you're eating gluten free just because you think it's healthy, it is not healthy for everyone. Gluten free foods are typically extremely processed, and they have a lower glycemic index. A lot of gluten free foods are made with either corn, or they're made with potato starch or rice flour. Again, all of these have a lower glycemic index, I'm sorry, higher glycemic index than gluten, which means that it's going to increase your blood sugar. It's going to spike up your blood sugar, right? So, again, when you decide to give up dairy, when you decide to give up gluten, always get tested before you completely take it off your diet or go for any free foods, right? And if you need some nutritional advice, if you want to go for any kind of allergy testing, feel free to get in touch and we can discuss more. So now, what are some things that you should always do not to be tricked, right? So one thing you have to do is always study the ingredients list at the back of the package of whatever that you're buying, whether it's a multivitamin supplement or it's a food, right? Or those gummies or whatever it is you're buying, always look at the ingredients list. If there are things that you can't pronounce, I would not even buy it. That's the first thing. Another good rule of the thumb when you're buying food is to scan the first three ingredients, right? So the first two or three ingredients will tell you what's the most common content of it. So if you look at bean chips or something else, you have to look at the first two or three contents, and that will tell you what it has. The second thing you need to look for is whether it's refined or whether it has any sugars added to it, or are there any hydrogenated oils. And if these three are there, it is not as healthy as you are perceiving it, right? The second thing to look out is watch for serving sizes. Often everything that's sold as low calorie or this is, really healthy for you, uh, if you look at the back of the ingredients, after the ingredient at the top of the ingredients, usually it will talk about a serving size. So maybe 2 cups of popcorn could be 100 calories, but you're not going to stop at 2 cups of popcorn, right? And you end up finishing the whole bag. So you could be getting 6 to 800 calories, right? Always watch for serving sizes. If it says like 10 chips are 120 calories, are you going to stop at 10 chips, or are you going to eat the whole bag, right? The same thing for soda or pop, the same thing for a cookie, the same thing for chocolate bars, the same thing for biscuits, right? Always watch for serving sizes, and then look for sugar in the serving sizes as well. Look for carbohydrates and added sugars. A can of pop might have as high as 40 grams of added sugar to it. Fruit juices will contain naturally 30 to 40 grams of sugars in it. There may not be any added sugars, but the fruit sugar itself can be potent enough to throw your blood sugar off. So, sugars, artificial sugars, or natural sugars contained in the food have to always be watched when you're watching the labels, right? And then we talked about a few misleading claims as well, because we are talking about sugar. And if you are someone who tries to avoid sugar, I have clients who are like, okay, I am avoiding sugar. Just today morning, I had a small child who had a lot of eczema, and he had a big flare up of eczema when he had some bagels, cinnamon raisin bagels, right? And cinnamon raisin bagels, you don't even think about it, but they could have added sugar in the bagel itself, even if you take the raisins completely out. So it's not just about the sugar in the raisins, but the whole bagel has a lot of sugar in it. Sugar is hidden in lots of different foods and it can go by different names. So there could be brown sugar, there could be beet sugar, there could be coconut sugar, date sugar, golden sugar, right? And coconut sugar is going to be healthier than white sugar for sure. But if you are a diabetic and if you are struggling with blood sugar or making a conscious attempt to cut sugars out of your diet, you're still ingesting these natural sugars, right? Evaporated cane juice, cane sugar are another names for sugar. So always be mindful. Always look for any kind of syrups added, whether it's rice syrup, high fructose corn syrup, agave nectar. Agave had taken the Whole Foods world by storm a few years ago, but it still has really high amounts of sugar. And if you are on a low sugar diet, or if you're trying to cut out the sugar, it's not the healthiest thing, right? Another kinds of sugars that could be added are, cane juice crystals, or lactose, or maltose, or fructose, fruit sugar concentrate, galactose, glucose. These are all maltodextrin, right? These are all the names that exist for sugar. So if you see any kind of these names, you have to make sure that you are being really, really conscious of not buying these products, right? So again, these are like simple things that you can implement right now. Start reading the food labels, right? Always take charge of what you're eating. Always be mindful of what you eat and be conscious of what you're putting in your body, because what is served to you as a healthy food may not be healthy. Your granola bars, have tons of sugar. Whey protein bars, which have tons of protein, may not be good for you if you're sensitive to whey protein. So again, another advice is just be careful what you put in the sugar, right? Because everything adds up and this starts building the toxicity in your body, right? And before I sign off, I just wanted to let you know about the spring reset that I'm hosting. I'm doing an Ayurveda spring reset that I host every year. We already have 20 amazing women signed up for it. It's a week of food, exploring the power of food using Ayurvedic nutrition, and you're going to feel much lighter. We are going to get rid of ama. We're going to have certain specific foods that are aligned with the spring season and which will help the channels of your detoxification to function the best, right? So that's what we are going to do for the spring soon. And we welcome spring from the Vedic calendar this Saturday, right? So I'm super excited. It's Gudi Padwa, one of the most auspicious days of the Vedic calendar. I'm super excited for it. This Saturday, it's going to be amazing. Thank you once again for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.